Hi, my name is Laura, and I'll be walking you through the process of applying for financial aid at Emmanuel College. Here at Emmanuel, we understand that the financial aid process can sometimes be confusing and overwhelming, especially if it's your first time applying. That is why we try to make the process as simple as possible for our students and families. To apply for financial aid at Emmanuel, you need to complete just the free application for federal student aid, more commonly known as the FAFSA. We do not require the College Scholarship Service profile, known as a CSS profile. Some students may need to submit additional documents to finalize their aid, but we'll discuss that later on. After you complete the FAFSA, the Office of Student Financial Services at Emmanuel reviews your information to offer you the best financial aid award possible. Your award may consist of merit scholarships, need-based grants, loans, federal work-study opportunities, or a combination of any of these. In this video, we'll review the following: gathering documents to complete the FAFSA, applying for or retrieving your FAFSA PIN, filing the FAFSA, including using the IRS data retrieval tool, or requesting IRS tax return transcripts if applicable, and some next steps. Feel free to skip forward if you only need help with one specific section. To make it easier to navigate the video, we've added title slides to each section. To make filing your FAFSA easier, we recommend collecting your documents before sitting down to complete your application. Students and their parents will need to gather the following information: your FAFSA PIN from www.pin.ed.gov, Social Security number, driver's license number, 2012 or most recent federal tax return, 2012 or most recent W-2 or year-end pay stub, untaxed income records, bank statements, business and investment records, and alien registration card if you're not a U.S. citizen. For students whose parents are divorced or separated, include the parent information for the parent with whom you lived for more than 50% of the last 12 months. Only include step-parent information if your parent is remarried. If you aren't sure if you should include any parent information, visit www.fafsa.gov to determine if you qualify as an independent student. Now that you've gathered your documents, let's discuss you and your parents' PIN. To complete the FAFSA, update your FAFSA, or access other federal student aid websites, you and your parent will need PIN numbers. Your PIN will also be used to electronically sign the FAFSA. Visit www.pin.ed.gov. Again, that's www.pin.ed.gov. This is what the PIN homepage looks like. On the right-hand side, there is a box where you can click Apply Now for a PIN. Click that option if you've never applied for a PIN and follow the instructions to get your PIN. If you already have a PIN but don't remember it, you can also use this website to retrieve your PIN. To do this, select Request a Duplicate PIN. This option is on the left-hand side, third link from the top. Follow the steps to have your PIN reissued to you. Your PIN can be used each year to electronically apply for federal student aid and to access your federal student aid records online, even after graduation. You as a student need your own PIN, and one of your parents will need their PIN. For example, mom will need a PIN, and you will need a PIN. Dad can't use mom's PIN, and you can't use mom's PIN. Each person's PIN is similar to a Social Security number, and it's tied to your personal information and shouldn't be shared with others. Do you have your PINs? Great. Now you're ready to begin your FAFSA. The FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, is a free form. If you are ever on a website that is charging you to complete the FAFSA, please be aware that you aren't on the government website. The FAFSA website is www.fafsa.gov. Again, that's www.fafsa.gov. Most of the websites that you'll need during the financial aid process will be .gov websites. Now that you're on the FAFSA homepage, click on the Start a New FAFSA link on the left. You'll want to be sure that you are completing a FAFSA for the correct academic year that you're actually applying for aid for. If you are applying for aid for the 2013-2014 academic year, you will need to complete the 2013-2014 FAFSA. When you start the login process, you will be asked to enter in your demographic information, including first name, last name, Social Security number, and your date of birth, under the Student Information section. You will notice on the right-hand side there is a Helps and Hints box. This box is a great tool to use when completing your FAFSA, as it will be there during the entire application, answering any questions you may have and providing helpful hints. You'll also notice on the left-hand side that it says Student. This means you are in the Student section now and should be providing student information. When you switch to Parent sections, it'll change colors and will then require parent information. Make sure you always double-check which section you are in when inputting information. If you accidentally input student information in the parent section or vice versa, that may delay your financial aid process. If you've previously completed a FAFSA, you will be given an option to do a FAFSA renewal or to start new FAFSA. If you choose FAFSA renewal, most information from the last time you completed the FAFSA, such as your demographic information, will be auto-filled in when you complete your 2013-2014 FAFSA. You will still have the option of changing and updating information as needed. If you choose Start New FAFSA, you'll need to input all information. There are 7 sections on the FAFSA. These sections include student demographics, school selection, dependency status, parent demographics, financial information, and the Sign and Submit section. Last is the important confirmation page, so that you can be sure that your application has actually been submitted. After logging into the FAFSA and starting a new application, begin with the Student Demographics section and enter your correct information. Once you complete this section, move on to the others. In the School section, make sure you enter Emmanuel College in Boston, Massachusetts, so that we may receive your FAFSA. Our federal school code is 002147. Again, that's 002147. You may also look us up by city and state. The Dependency section is used to determine if you will need to include parental information. Please note that if you answer yes to any of these questions, you may be required to provide our office with documentation proving your independency status. In the next section, you'll enter parent demographics, if applicable, and then proceed to financial information. Remember earlier when I said the parent section would be a different color? Here it is. You can also see that it says Parent over on the left-hand side now. In this section, enter all the information regarding parent financial information first. In our example, the student's parents are divorced, and the student lives with his father. Thus, it lists you, the father. However, if both your parents' information is required, it will say your parents instead. Now we're going to quickly go through the steps involved in using the IRS data retrieval tool. If your parents already completed their IRS income tax return for 2012, you'll be prompted to answer questions which will help determine if you are eligible to use the IRS data retrieval tool link. This tool allows you and/or your parents to electronically transfer your tax information straight from the IRS website into your FAFSA. We strongly encourage using this tool, as it reduces errors and is the quickest way we can receive your tax information. If you choose not to use this tool, your financial aid process may be delayed. If you select none of the above on this page, then your parents are eligible to use the IRS data retrieval tool, which will become available after February 3rd, 2013. Your parent should enter their PIN number and click Link to IRS. If you are ineligible to use the IRS data retrieval tool, you will not be given this option, but should continue through with your FAFSA using your estimated tax information until you sign and submit it and receive a confirmation page. After your parents do file their taxes, please log back into the FAFSA and make a correction so that you may update your FAFSA to include your official 2012 tax information. Most parents will be eligible to use the IRS data retrieval tool. However, in some cases, your parent may not be eligible. Examples include if your parents are married but filed taxes separately, if they filed an amended tax return, if they filed a foreign tax return, if you or your parent filed less than 2 weeks ago, or if you or your parent owe taxes. If you are ineligible to use this tool because it has not yet been 2 weeks since you filed your taxes electronically, you may simply wait until the 2 weeks have passed. If you filed your taxes via paper, you will need to wait 6 to 8 weeks to be eligible to use the tool. If you're ineligible for other reasons, you will need to request IRS tax return transcripts. We'll show you how to do this later on. If you're eligible to use the IRS data retrieval tool and click link, you will then receive this message that you'll be redirected to the IRS website to use the IRS data retrieval tool. Click OK to proceed. When you arrive at the IRS website, enter the requested information. All of your parents' information must be entered exactly as it appears on their tax return forms. For example, if your parents spelled out the word street, S-T-R-E-E-T, on their tax return rather than typing S-T, you will need to spell out street. If your parents used all caps, you will need to use all caps. The information has to be identical so that it may match the IRS's database. Once you have typed in the requested demographic information, click Submit to continue. After your parent's identity has been verified, their IRS tax information will display. Click Transfer Now and return to the FAFSA website. In some cases, you may receive an error message. If so, try re-entering your information. If the link is still unsuccessful, you will need to go back into the FAFSA and submit your FAFSA without using the IRS data retrieval tool. You may need to wait a few weeks until the IRS data retrieval link is available to you, or you may need to request tax return transcripts. Once you return to the FAFSA website, proceed to Student Financial Information. Repeat the IRS data retrieval tool steps to retrieve your own tax information, if you're eligible. When you finish transferring your information from the IRS into the FAFSA, return back to the FAFSA and continue to the Sign and Submit section to finalize your FAFSA. When the FAFSA is submitted, you will receive a confirmation message. It is important for you to ensure that you receive a confirmation page. If you do not receive a confirmation page, then your FAFSA was not submitted, and we will not receive the information in order to review your aid eligibility. If you weren't able to use the IRS data retrieval tool, you may need to request IRS tax return transcripts to verify the information on your FAFSA. These are different from your tax returns. The IRS tax return transcripts come straight from the IRS, and we as a college are required to only accept the IRS tax return transcripts. We cannot accept copies of your tax returns themselves. To request an IRS tax return transcript, visit www.irs.gov. Again, that's www.irs.gov. Then under Tools, follow the prompts to order a return transcript. You can also call 1-800-908-9946 to request a transcript. Please ensure that you request the tax return transcript, as we're unable to accept other transcripts that may be mentioned on the IRS website. Please have the tax return transcript mailed to you and then submit it to our office with the student's name. You should receive your tax return transcript within 5 to 10 business days of your request. Now that you've submitted your FAFSA, we're going to talk about some of the next steps. After submitting your FAFSA, Emmanuel College should receive the information electronically within about 3 business days. For incoming students, we encourage you to submit your FAFSA by our priority filing date of February 15th. This will allow you to receive an award letter in March, in time to make a decision by the May 1st deposit deadline. Your award letter and an award guide describing your award will be mailed to your preferred mailing address. For returning students, your priority filing date is March 1st. Financial aid awards will be available to view through My Saints beginning in June. We will email you when your award is available to view. As a reminder, we only require the FAFSA to apply for financial aid. However, should we need additional information for verification, we will send you a letter requesting such. If at any time you or your parents have any questions, please visit our website at www.emmanuel.edu and click on the Tuition and Aid link, or contact us at 617-735-9938, or by email at financialservices@emmanuel.edu. Each student has an assigned student financial services counselor dedicated to helping you and your parents with questions regarding financial aid or your options to pay for your education. We look forward to meeting you.